Hello, this is Noreen Crone-Findlay, and this segment, this particular short little video is about weaving the Saffron teddy bear for the summer weaving challenge for the summer of 2022. And I designed many teddy bears woven on the Saffron loom. And I'm going to show you this particular technique is one I love. And because I'm wanting to show as many different techniques as possible, that I'm using the teddy bears as a kind of sampler. And so playing with different techniques for weaving. And so weaving, this one, we're going to be weaving the body and legs for one of the teddy bears, but weaving them in stripes. So to weave the teddy bear body in stripes, here are the sleeves, the arms, woven in stripes. And the technique that I'm going to be showing you is a tapestry technique, weft face weaving. And we're going to weave now the standard shape for the teddy bear body starts here at the neck edge. You weave to the hips, and then you divide and weave the legs individually. You're going to follow that same flight plan, but the sweater part of the body is going to be horizontal stripes like the sleeves, and the legs are going to be vertical stripes. Same warp, same basic yarns, but just using a slightly different technique. Well, it's not that, okay, yeah, it is. All right. All right, so I'm just going to make a small slip knot and put it on one peg in from the edge of the loom, and I'm going to, you can use really anything you want as your warp because it's going to be covered. So I'm going up to the same slot. Just a minute, that's not quite the same slot. There. I'll move that. Just start again here. Oh, mercy me. Okay, so I'm going to put the slip knot on it this way so that I'm coming out of the second slot, going up to the second slot and down. And I want to have 21 warp strands. Not 21, excuse me, 20 warp strands. So I am zipping along up and down the loom from top to bottom, bottom to top. And this technique is different than some of the other videos that I've done for the Saffron teddy bear, because this is needle woven, not woven with a weaving hook or crochet hook. Instead, it's woven, I think I've gone one too far, woven with a collection of various needles. Okay, so we want 20 warp strands. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Ah, good. There we go, 20. Okay, and now I'm going to take my yarn around the loom and around the nut at the bottom of the loom to make sure I've got it quite secure, and I'll snip it off and grab a needle and take that just through there again, because I haven't warped the loom tight, but I do want it to be even. So I'm just going to do a few half hitches just to make sure that that stays where I have planted it. So like I said before, we're going to start weaving at the neck edge of the teddy bear, and I'm just reaching across here. Okay, So I have misplaced some of the yarn that I was going to use. That's okay. I'll just use something slightly different. Okay, I'm going to be weaving kind of similar stripes to the sleeves, but not necessarily worrying about keeping them exactly the same as the sleeves. So I'm pulling out a couple of yards of the weft strand, and I'm going to take it around you could go around either the left hand or right hand warp strand at the bottom of the loom, and I am just sliding that along, so I've got two strands of weft held together. I need to weave in a you could use a meat skewer, a bamboo skewer, or a knitting needle, or I just have a tiny dowel that I sharpened the end, and I'm using that as my shed stick. That opens one shed, shed 1, and then shed 2 I will pick up the stitches individually. I'm going to use, I really like this weaving needle that I carved quite a few years ago, just from a piece of hardwood that I just split and carved. Now I'm going to run my weaving needle along the shed stick, and that instantly gives me row 1. I'm going to, or pass 1. Now, in order to weave horizontal stripes, I'm going to weave 4 passes in total of each color, and that'll give me stripes, horizontal stripes like this. So I go back with the same color yarn, beat it into place, and because I'm doing weft-faced weaving, not sure why I've got thready bits hanging off there, I'm beating it in so that it covers the warp strands completely. So my third row is just like my first one. It goes just into that open shed, slides along, and then see how I leave a little arch? I come down, I beat it in. I'm just using a fork. You can use a proper tapestry beater or a comb, or even a dog grooming tool. I forget what these are called. They're quite useful. Okay, so I've woven 3 rows. Now my 4th row, I pick up every other warp strand that I have. So I'm going over the strands that I went under, and under the strands that I went over. So you can use multiple weaving needles if you'd like, or you can just unthread the one that you're using now and thread up with your next color. So the next color is, according to the sleeves, I'm going to use this kind of mustardy sort of yellow, and I'm going to do the same thing I did with the first strand, which is I'm going to take it around that first warp strand, pardon me, and I will now just push that out of the way and move these guys over a little bit. And again, I go just into the shed, bring it down, and I'm going to weave 4 passes of the next color, color 2, and I beat it down starting at the edge that I began, which is the left-hand edge, and now picking up my row 2 of the gold colored yarn and back, and I pinch here when I'm easing it through and bring it down in an arch. That's a bit too loose at that edge. And 3. Beat, beat, beat. And 4. I'm going to weave stripes for 2 inches for the sweater body, and that will take me to the teddy bear's hip line. So I'm going to continue weaving stripes, and I'll do that for 2 inches, and I'll come back when I've got the 2 inches woven all across on the 20 warp strands. So I'll see you in a second, and I'll have the body woven then. I have woven now to the hip line, which is, I've just gone to 2 inches, and I decided I wanted the cuff of the sweater. This is the neck, this is the hip line. So I wanted the cuff of the sweater, cuff, is that the right, waistband of the sweater to be the same as the neck, but a little bit more pronounced. And so that's why I did, I don't know, 8 rows, 8 passes instead of just the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so I did 8 passes instead of 4. And now what I'm going to do is pull the shed stick out of these 10 strands, and I'm going to weave the pants, the legs of the teddy bear, the first leg on these 10, then after this is done, the second leg. I'm kind of debating whether or not I will make different colored shoes. I don't know. I'll think about it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm tying 2 strands of sort of sapphire blue to 2 strands of navy, and I'm going to do pick and pick, because what I want, oh boy, where is the end? There's the end. What I want to do is to have the pant legs be vertical striped. So that's when pick and pick is just great. Oops, I've lost my other end here. So with pick and pick, you weave 1 color, 1 row for 1, no, okay, let me back up. 1 pass with color number 1 or A, and then pass 2 is with the other color. And so what that does is that gives you a set of vertical stripes, which is pretty fun. Excuse me. I just took a sip of tea and it went down the wrong way. Okay, so I'm cutting those off. I'm going to just pull these ends up so the knot sits at the edge. Now, normally, if you were doing a tapestry or a scarf or a piece of weaving that the edge isn't going to be sewn inside, you'd never leave a clumpy old knot like that in your weaving. But because these edges are going to be stitched together and they will be inside, so the having the colors securely knotted is just fine. Some people probably wouldn't agree, but I like having them securely knotted because then I know that they're not going to pull out. So there is pass number 1, and I will thread the other color into another weaving needle, and I will go over the stitches I went under and under the stitches I went over, and happily I can do that by just running my needle through the shed stick. And because this is weft face weaving, you beat your rows down and they will cover the weft strands. Now I take color 1, the navy, and I weave. It's exactly the same flight plan. Oops, I want to make sure that the weft goes around the previous color, and they'll walk nicely up the edge there. So I, with color 1 and color 2, each of them always, because I'm alternating, they will always follow the same flight path that they started with at the beginning. And so that means that the lighter blue always is going over these strands in the back, and the navy is always going over the strands in the front. And that's how you get your lovely vertical stripes. So you again will pack your weaving in to cover the warp strands. And now you notice that each of the colors is following the same flight path that it did in its previous pass through, no matter which side of the loom I start on. So that's how it will keep the whoops. Yeah, I just about wove 2 colors, 2 strands the same color, which I don't want to do. I want to go making sure that I'm doing the alternate rows. And if you don't like picking up a fork to or comb to beat your rows in, you can use your weaving needle. And so I'm going to repeat these 2 rows for 3 inches, and then I'll decide. I'm kind of leaning towards doing contrasting color shoes for this bear. Oh, what the heck, yes, I will do contrasting color shoes. So at 3 inches I'm going to stop with the 2 shades of blue, and I will then weave a different color for the shoes. I could do the same color as the head and the paws, but I'm really leaning towards doing colorful shoes. So I'm just going to carry on weaving, and I will come back when I have woven 3 inches from the hip line up to the ankle line. And look, you can see the vertical lines, the vertical stripes are starting to form now. So we've got our horizontal for the sweater and vertical stripes for the teddy bear's trousers. So I have finished the first leg up to the ankle, I decided that I wanted to have a horizontal cuff. So I stopped doing the pick and pick and then just did just slightly shy of 1/2 inch of the plain light blue as the cuff. And I am going to do contrasting boots or shoes. So I'm just going to weave those, and when the first leg is done, I'll come back and show you. So I'm just going to get that boot woven. There, so the first leg is done from the hip to the toes, and I will just thread up my weaving needles and get my shed stick in here and weave the second leg in the same way as I wove the first. Now, I'm going to weave the legs pretty much the same way, but that's not saying that you have to. If you want to dipsy doodle around and experiment, you certainly can. I'll show you afterwards some teddy bears that I wove, being very playful with the colorways of the shirt and legs. So, and here is the striped bear, body and legs woven. So to take it off the loom, you just lift it off, and the ends are secure because they are woven in and out. And so the bear, when it's done, will be folded the middle this way, and the feet come up this way. I'll cover the war pans with the end there, and I think this guy's going to be so cute. So I will put this one together and then show you.